I guess we'll just first start off. I mean, obviously a big win last night. What'd you like about your guys' game, and what can you bring into these next three?
Well, I loved our speed and our intensity right from the start, right from the puck drop. I thought we just brought that desperate mentality, maybe that we haven't had. We've had throughout the year, but we didn't have the last few games. We really brought that. Like we came to play right away, and power play was clicking. Just everybody was going. So yeah, if we can bring that mentality and that same quality of play the next 3 games, we're going to be in for some good hockey games.
Obviously, Ottawa's a team that you guys are kind of neck and neck in the standings with right now. Just how big of a game is tomorrow? How big of an opportunity is it to make up some ground there on a team that you're 4-point game?
Yeah, tomorrow's obviously huge. I think the last 2 weeks really we've been playing in these kind of games. Seems like every game just means a little more than the next one. So we checked the standings last night. Obviously, we got a little bit of help throughout the league, and we're right back in the fight. So tomorrow's huge, and for both teams, so it should be a good hockey game.
Brayden Schenn now has been here for about a month. You guys have been playing together for an extended stretch here. Just what kind of impact has he had on the team, and what kind of impact has he also had on you as a line mate, teammate?
Yeah, I think sometimes as a teammate or as a line mate, can take a second to get chemistry, but I feel like with Schenn, it kind of happened right away from the first game. Really, just seemed to know where he's going to be. He likes to try to get me the puck, and I like to let him go to work down low. And he's just got a really high hockey IQ, so he's an easy guy to play for. I'm sure I'm not the first guy to say that. They had chemistry right away with him, but he's been just. You guys see it all from on the ice, but what he's done off the ice for our group. He's just such a great human being, helping Cal Ritchie out, helping me out, helping everybody out in the locker room. He's just a great presence to have around.
You guys have brought in a few different guys this year between, Palat, Susie, Brayden. I mean, with, I guess, Brayden specifically, how do you guys make him, feel welcome in this locker room? Because it's been such a tight-knit one for so long.
I think with any guy that's come in over the last, 8-9 years since I've been here, even when I came in as a rookie, I felt that way, and it was just seamless to come in and just be yourself. And, we got a bunch of funny dudes on this team that like to joke around. So, yeah, it's easy to jump in. I think, especially when Schenn coming in this time of the year and playing as well as he has too. And even Seuss has been contributed offensively at times, and same with Pally. So they're giving it everything they have. And I think as a locker room, we always appreciate it when a new guy comes in and, works hard. And they're all just really good guys.
And lastly, Brayden said it was kind of a hybrid center situation between you and him, alternating some face-offs, center and wing responsibilities. Just, you're talking about hockey IQ, but just how do you, I guess, kind of, how does that work for maybe the fans that aren't as in tune with, like, how the hybrid nature of it kind of goes? Yeah,
I mean, it's, just because a guy takes the draw doesn't mean he's necessarily planted down the middle the whole shift. I think such a fluid game that sometimes, Cal Ritchie will be down the middle, or, I'll be on the wall, whatever. It's just, it's very, there's a lot of communication going on the ice, so we talk a lot. With me and Schenn, we kind of talked before the game, like once the play got going. I went 0 for 4 in the circle last night, so I assume I'm not going to be taking a ton of draws tomorrow. But yeah, Schenn just, as the play goes on, he wants me to get to the middle of the ice so I can use my speed, and I thought we had a great game last night.
I mean, obviously, just a big win for the team last night. Talk about, what really went well for you guys and how you can kind of use that these next 3 games.
Well, I thought we had a good workman-like mindset that, set the tone for our team. New system, obviously, you're still going to make some mistakes along the way, which we did. But overall, I thought the guys showed up prepared, willing to work, and even when the game was at 2-2, I thought, we were doing a lot of good things, and, we stuck with it, and Shafe got us that next one and able to take it over from there.
For you playing on the wing as well, I'm not sure when the last time you had done that was, but just how was it for you kind of maybe spending a little bit more time on the wing?
Actually, I played a little bit of both kind of throughout my career. Obviously more center, but I'm very comfortable on the wing. With with me and Barzy, we'll both take face-offs. For me, I just try and read off him. Right, he has the speed through the middle of the ice. He's trying to generate the puck through the middle through him and let him do his thing. And when we're down the O-zone or even defensively, it's kind of first man back mentality. And if you're the first man back, you play center and low. So I've done a lot of, call it hybrid center throughout my career, and I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Speaking of comfortability, obviously you've been here about a month and a bit of a whirlwind whenever you get traded. But how are you settling in about a month later, just on the ice, but also off the ice, getting to know Long Island a little bit and all that?
Yeah, you know what? Haven't been traded in a long time, so it takes just a little bit of time to get used to. But now I feel comfortable. It's it's a special place to be. It's you show up to the rink every day. You have great fans in this locker room. It's built with tons of characters, solid guys that are super easy to get along with, and they have been obviously very welcoming from day one to me and also my family. And just living on the island, it's. You don't get that New York feel with, the big city, but, if you want it, you can always go in, and we love living on Long Island. It's a special place. People are awesome, and, very fortunate, lucky to be here.
We talk so much about, veteran players bringing in younger players for dinners and things like that. Obviously, you being here now, like guys bringing you over for dinner, kind of integrating you a little bit that way.
Yeah. I have my family here now, so it's a little bit different. We haven't had a ton of road trips since I've been here, so obviously around the guys at the rink. Shafe's been over, hanging out with the kids. Zeker, and there's a bunch of guys just around where we're living, and. Guys literally have been awesome. It's not only to me, but to my wife and family. The support that the organization has given us to make it an easy transition. It's been awesome, and it just we feel comfortable here, and it's only going to get better day by day.
And just shifting back to hockey now, obviously big game tomorrow against the Senators. Two teams that are head-to-head in the standings right now. Just how big of a game is that? How big of an opportunity is it to make up some ground there?
This is what you play for. These are the ones that you work all season towards. These games where you show up and you have to bring your A game, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be physical. It's going to be tight checking. No room out there. Points are valuable for both teams, and obviously both teams know it. So, we feel ready and excited and looking forward to the opportunity and challenge.
The guys that didn't skate today, are you expecting to have them all for tomorrow?
Yeah, maintenance for the two guys. Romanov still going through his rehab. Yeah.
I know players are very conditioned. It's shift by shift, game by game, never really looking at the big picture. There seems to be a dichotomy. I mean, everyone understands your situation and that you probably need to win out. How do you as a coach help them balance that, knowing what the big picture is and keeping it small picture?
Yeah. Well, it's a good question, Andrew. I think, listen, I don't think we necessarily have to win out. I think, mathematically we win out, obviously helps us for sure. Yeah. But I don't think, if we drop a point or two that our season's necessarily over. But I think it's the bigger picture of this is, you just got to win one game at a time. I mean, we woke up 2 days ago and we were 3 points out, and the standings looked almost insurmountable. We won one game yesterday, and we wake up today and we feel pretty good. We're right there. So I think we just want to. You have to. That's pro sports. You've got to take one game at a time. That playoff mentality of flush what happened yesterday and be prepared to win tomorrow night. And if you keep doing that, you'll keep waking up and feeling good about where you're at.
Obviously, yesterday wasn't perfect. You're working through things, but is there one area that you said, we need to definitely fine tune that?
Yeah, you know what? I just think. Listen, I told the guys this morning, the things that I really liked about last night wasn't the X and O's. It was our mindset. I thought our work rate was really good away from the puck. Working above on turnovers and working to places to play fast. our work rate was the difference in the game. The X and O stuff is stuff that we're going to continue to work on, and that's probably the area that probably needs the most work, and rightfully so. We just got started on that. But if our work rate and our mindset is where it was last night, then that's the most important part.
Richie's really finding success crashing the net as of late. I know he said you talked to him a little bit about that. Just as a young player to see him have that success early down there, I mean, how big do you think that is going forward?
Yeah. Well, listen, he's a big body, and everyone's looking for big bodies with skill. I mean, we're seeing one of the best in the league come in tomorrow night with Tkachuk. I think there's a premium on those kind of guys because in the playoffs, that's where goals are scored. And, the reality is, you've got the smaller players have trouble getting there. You can be as fearless as you want, but, when you're his size, you have an advantage. So, we're not looking to turn him into Tkachuk, but, if he can add some of those power forward type characteristics to his game, he becomes a really valuable guy with his skill level.
How much do you think the power play success will translate 5-on-5 just crashing the net?
Well, I think confidence, right, of going to those areas and getting rewarded. You hope that translates because, we all know in the playoffs the power plays dry up. So, it is about 5-on-5 offense.
Brayden Schenn, a guy you've probably seen a lot from afar. I mean, I know it's a short sample. But what have your impressions been of him up close?
Yeah. I've had Schenner before on a World Junior team. I've watched him since he's been a young player coming into the league. Listen, I love his character. I love his leadership. He's what you see on the ice at game time is only a small part of what he brings to a team. He's a real glue guy, and I think one of the better leaders, in the league as far as dressing room and mentoring young players and messaging. So I'm going to lean on him a lot.
And him and Matt Barzal were talking about kind of a hybrid center approach, perhaps mid in a game. Just what were your thoughts on the two of them last night?
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. I like Barzal in the middle of the ice with his speed, but with the way we play, we have to be interchangeable. And there's going to be times where they're going to end up flip-flopped, on those spots. But they both played center for extended periods. They're both comfortable. It's going to take some use. That interchangeability is probably the one spot where we've got to continue to work at, not just that line, but everybody before it comes natural.
I know, setting lineups, you always have to be flexible, right? But do you go into the weekend with an idea of how you want to do the goalies on a back-to-back?
Listen, in a perfect world, if we're playing in November in the regular season, that would be a split automatically for us. I wouldn't want to play our starter back-to-back, but we're not in the middle of November, and it's a different situation. So I think all bets are off at this point in the year.
What did you think of Holmstrom's game alongside Horvat?
I thought the lines were good. That line was good. I liked him. He's big. He hangs on to pucks. He's got some puck possession to his game. He's fast. There's a lot to like there. There's guys I'm getting to know that, being in the West, I didn't know a lot about. That it's nice to see. There's some really good players here.
With Shabnov too, it seems like he at times was showing off that creativity. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that as a coach? Yeah,
he was dancing last night. He was good, and he's a competitive guy for his size, and he's not afraid. I know he's been banged up a little bit this year, probably because of that, but there's a lot of things there I like.